Hey scrappers, let's talk a little bit today about some of the material that scrapyards break down further before sending out to be recycled. These are some of the things that we see commonly in the yard today, and I'm sure it's things that you've seen brought in as well. Let's start with our rims. First of all, we want to make sure that they're aluminum. We do take the steel rims as well, but the most value for rims that you're going to find are your aluminum ones. Now, they're going to come in a couple different categories, but one of the things that yards are going to look for to see is if they're clean versus a dirty rim. Now, a dirty rim is going to have the valve stem that's present. This one is a clean one, so you're not going to see it here. But you're going to have a valve stem that's here, and then they will traditionally also have wheel weights on either the inside or the outside of the rim. Now, if you bring that material in as is, you're going to get paid less than if you take the time to pop off the valve stem and the wheel weights. Again, if you have the time, the experience, and the tools, I always recommend taking these apart. Next thing that we have over here is different types of plumbing brass. First is going to be, it's a sink. It's the top of a sink, really good solid brass, but then you're gonna see these stainless steel hoses on the bottom here. That's gonna downgrade your material if you bring it in because it's mixed with material. If you have the time, take off the stainless steel hoses and then bring the two materials in separately to get paid more. Here you're gonna see a couple valves. This one's gonna have a steel handle on the top. This part here is gonna be steel as well. Now, traditionally, with brass, it's okay to bring in some of your pieces with a little bit like the valve handles and everything on here. But once you start getting into some of these heavier steel pieces here, it's gonna really lower the value of your material because a lot of the weight is going to the steel up here. Take the time, if you have the tools, to take these pieces apart, and you're gonna get paid more for the brass than if you bring it in with steel on top. Another piece here is copper and brass together. It's a really good piece. But if you want to make more money, you can also cut off the copper in the inside, in the middle here, and then you can bring the brass pieces here separately and then get paid for the copper and the brass together instead of buying it as a mixed price. We also have ACRs here. So you're going to have an aluminum copper radiator, and then this one is also just a pure aluminum radiator. Always take these apart if you have the tools. Somebody brought this piece in here, all aluminum, except for the steel on the outside and the plastic down here. This lowers the price of your material. Cut off the ends, pull the steel off, and you're gonna get paid for aluminum pricing and then your steel pricing separately instead of just paying for a whole unit here where you're really getting paid for steel pricing because of all the contaminants. This one down here is an aluminum copper radiator. Again, you're gonna see the steel ends here with the coil, or the ends. Cut this piece off here, so it's gonna look like this when it's done. You're gonna get paid for two separate pieces of material. You're gonna get the ACR ends here as one piece, and then you're gonna get the clean ACR fin for another. Some customers also like to take it a step further and they like to cut off the copper here. That's completely up to you. You're gonna get more money per pound. Just know that this doesn't weigh a lot, so you're gonna need more volume. Now, one thing I don't usually recommend taking apart is gonna be what we call breakage or copper bearing material. Now, this material is going to have copper inside, but a lot of the times the copper content inside is so small, it's almost not worth taking apart. Now, you could argue the fact that, this unit here is gonna have a transformer inside. You can take that apart if you have the time, but when you're dealing with volume and a lot of small pieces like this, it's very hard to justify the time taking all these pieces apart. Everybody's gonna have their own different opinion on this, and there's no right or wrong answer, but traditionally, when a yard sees material like this, it's often not worth taking that apart and we ship it out as is. And I'm sure there's a lot of other pieces of material or different types of material that come in the yard, and I'd love to hear more about that. What sort of material that you as scrappers take apart versus leave as is, but these are just a few common examples that we see here in the yard. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe.